Welcome to KMV Tech Learning Platform. Today, we're covering a historic case that shook Uganda's criminal justice system, Susan Kigula and 417 others v. Attorney General. It's more than just a murder trial. It's a story of love, betrayal, justice, and how one woman changed Uganda's death penalty laws. Let's unpack it using the FIRAC method, and we'll include the trial, the appeals, and the constitutional case. Susan Kigula was convicted for the murder of her husband, Constantine Seremba, in 2000. The prosecution alleged that she conspired with a houseboy to kill him in cold blood while he slept. She denied the charges, but in 2002, the High Court convicted her of murder and sentenced her to death by hanging, the mandatory sentence at that time under Section 189 of the Penal Code Act. But Susan didn't give up. While in prison, she studied the law and soon became the face of a major legal battle, not just for her own freedom, but for hundreds of others on death row. The legal issues were: 1. Was the mandatory death sentence for murder constitutional? 2. Was it lawful for someone to remain on death row indefinitely, even after years of delay? 3. Did such delays violate a prisoner's right to be protected from cruel, inhuman, or degrading punishment? At the time, Uganda's penal code imposed a mandatory death sentence for murder, meaning, once convicted, the judge had no discretion. However, under the 1995 Constitution, Article 24 prohibits torture and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment. Article 44A makes that protection non-derogable, meaning it cannot be limited under any circumstances. So the Constitutional Court had to decide whether the mandatory nature of the death penalty and long delays in execution violated these constitutional rights. In 2005, Susan Kigula and 417 other death row inmates filed a constitutional petition challenging the mandatory death penalty. In 2009, the Supreme Court made a landmark ruling. The death penalty itself is constitutional, meaning Uganda can retain it as punishment. But the mandatory death sentence for murder is unconstitutional. Judges must now have discretion based on the circumstances of each case. Also, if a person has been on death row for more than 3 years without execution, their sentence must automatically be commuted to life imprisonment. As a result of the ruling, Susan Kigula's death sentence was quashed. Her sentence was reduced to 20 years. She later earned a law degree while still in prison. She was released in 2016 after serving about 16 years and became an advocate for justice reform and prisoner rehabilitation. This case wasn't just about Susan Kigula. It changed the legal landscape for judicial discretion in sentencing, the rights of death row inmates, and the growing call for death penalty abolition in Uganda. Susan's courage showed how even prisoners can use the Constitution to bring change. Her story is now studied in law schools across Africa and beyond. After this case, many death row inmates had their sentences reviewed or commuted. Courts now consider mitigating factors in murder cases. And Uganda continues to debate whether to abolish the death penalty entirely. This case teaches us that law is not just about punishment, it's about justice, humanity, and reform. The Susan Kigula case reminds us that legal education is not limited to classrooms. Even from behind bars, she studied law, challenged an unjust system, and helped change Uganda's criminal justice forever. Whether you're a law student, a lawyer, or just someone passionate about justice, let this be your reminder. The law is not static. It's shaped by those bold enough to question it. So read cases, ask hard questions, and never stop learning, because legal knowledge can change lives, just like it did for Susan Kigula. Thanks for watching this breakdown of Susan Kigula and 417 others v. Attorney General. If you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to KMV Tech Learning Platform, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next case summary next week. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Uganda abolish the death penalty? You can as well tell us the case summary you want. We shall share it with the public. Thanks for watching. Keep seeking justice and keep learning. See you next time.